And we're back. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Um, I know it's been a while. I know we've been stuck in our houses for a lot of time, but I hope you're taking this time to really try and maybe learn something new. Maybe research something that you maybe have never done before, and you're not just kind of staring at your phones looking at TikTok or Instagram or Snapchat or whatever you're doing. I hope you're really, again, taking advantage of this time that you're at home. But so, what I wanted to do this with this lesson is I wanted to go into something that's not in the book, um, but is going to be somewhat interesting to you. We would definitely have been doing this in class. So, what we're going to do, and you can see it right behind me, is probability. Okay, there are two types of probability. One is theoretical and one is experimental. Now, let's just be clear on what probability is. Think of the word probability, think of the word probable. How much of a chance is there that something will occur? It's probable that it will occur this many times out of this many opportunities. For example, if you think about a coin, okay, how many possible outcomes are there? Outcomes being the things that can occur. So there are two possible outcomes. You can either get heads or you can get tails. So there are two possible outcomes. If you have a die, like one of a pair of dice. You have a die, think about how many sides are there to a die. Well, there are six sides to a die, so there's six possible outcomes. So every one of our probabilities we're going to write as a fraction. Now, what are the two differences of these two words, theoretical and experimental? Theoretical is what should happen. Sorry about the shadow from my baseball hat. I'm trying to keep the sun out of my eyes. You can see I'm outside, and I wanted to. Yesterday was raining all day, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this from the outside, and I hope you guys are getting outside too. And staying away from each other, within reason, but making sure that you are not just sitting inside the house. Even if you're going and sitting in your backyard, there's nothing wrong with that. Or even going for a bike ride. Okay? Just again, as long as when you get home, you're washing your hands and you're making sure you're not touching anybody, and you are especially not touching your face when you come inside. Wash your hands, wash them good. Say your ABCs while you wash your hands, and then go ahead and, you should be okay. But anyway, so let's get back to this. Theoretical. Theoretical is what should happen. If everything were perfect and there was no differences, there was no wind, there was to flip the coin the exact same amount of strength, everything was perfect. You did it in a vacuum. Theoretically, you should get heads and tails the same number of times. Same idea with a die. Every time, theoretically, you roll a dice, the probability or the possibility of one of the numbers coming up is 1 out of 6 possible times. So if you rolled a die 6 times, you would get all 6 numbers, theoretically. But of course, that's not really going to happen, right? You roll the die a little bit different every time. Depends on how you're holding the die, if you're holding it perfectly the same. But overall, that's what theoretically should happen. So obviously, we're not here at school. We're not at school. You're definitely not here. But we're going to just deal with theoretical probability for now, okay? Hopefully we'll get back to school and we'll be able to do all these things hands-on, but for right now we're just going to have to deal with theoretical probability, okay? Now, if you think about it, I already talked about it a little bit, okay? Theoretical probability, experimental. Now, experimental is what would happen if we actually did the flipping of the coin, the rolling of the die, the spinning of a spinner, all kinds of different things, okay? So what we have to understand again is theoretically it should happen the same way every single time, okay? So now after we, at the end of this, you can go ahead and you're going to get out the worksheets that I sent along with the email that I sent to your parents, and I'll show you which worksheet we're going to use first when we start the next video.